Let's imagine for a moment that all the zombies in video games are replaced with perfectly healthy, innocent people. It's pretty messed up, isn't it? Thankfully, there aren't a lot of games in recent times that are based solely around the extermination of innocent, helpless people. Bar a few notable exceptions. And that's really what zombie games are enabling us to do. They're letting us do horrible things to people to satisfy that morbid urge to see how much blood we can spill. With a little scabbiness of the skin, bleeding eyes and some teeth removed, you've turned a normal civilian into enough of a monster to justify saying this kind of thing.
Just start slicing, you're putting them down the center. It's amazing.
Without sounding weird. Well, it's still pretty weird, but if they weren't talking about zombies, it'd be weirder. But those guys at Capcom are passionate. They're pouring everything they can in to make Dead Rising 3 not just a massive jump in terms of depth and complexity, but also paying service to the fans of good old-fashioned zombie smashing. And this is just about all I've seen of this Xbox One exclusive. Set 10 years after Dead Rising 2, there's a fresh zombie outbreak upon the world. Great one, guys, have you not thought of a way to prevent that yet? But this time it's localised to the fictional city of Los Perdidos. More on that later. Slipping out of the fluorescent motorcycle leathers of Chuck Green and into the less practical sleeveless denim, you play as Nick Ramos, a young, slightly whiny mechanic. Capcom aren't letting us know a huge amount about the story, but as Nick, your goal is to escape the city and bring as many survivors with you before the whole place is incinerated in 6 days, bringing all organic life with it. I wonder how they came up with that solution. And Mr. President, there's been a zombie outbreak in Southern California. What should we do? Blow this shit out of it. But even with impending death by fire, the strict time limit of previous games are gone, as are the bathroom save points. So every day won't be a race against the clock. In the words of executive producer Josh Bridge, zombies are the enemy this time, not the clock or time running out. But if you are really keen for that old school experience, a nightmare mode will reintroduce the strict time limits and limited save points. Now the world of Dead Rising 3 is big. Really big. It's the size of both previous games combined several times over. But unlike previous games, different areas won't be separated by loading screens. Los Perdidos is a fully open world, and you can go anywhere and traverse the land in a number of vehicles without being interrupted. And yet, even with this massive size, Capcom Vancouver is stuffing this zombie-smashing arena to its trademark density. Neon signs of rundown restaurants and hotels decorate the skyline, and in contrast to a lot of open world, every building looks like it's fully fleshed out inside and out. Destructibility is more central to the gameplay, as is the verticality of the environment. Various fences, cars and walls can be smashed up, taken apart or blown up. An agile Nick clambers on top of houses to gain a vantage point. Combine all of this with an unprecedented density of scabby-faced shufflers in a world where everything is a weapon, you've got a pretty sadistic playground. An even bigger arsenal of zombie mutilation tools will be at your disposal in Dead Rising 3, so you'll never run out of things to bury into a torso. The crafting mechanic introduced in 2 is still going strong, but now you can build anywhere, not just on workbenches, and your whole arsenal is a lot easier to manage. Crafting has been overhauled as well, so rather than a simple set of recipes, there are broader combinations. So for example, you can combine any flame object with a melee object to create a flaming baseball bat. Kind of like enchantments, but just a lot grittier.
In terms of guns, we've got a handgun, an LMG, a makeshift grenade launcher, a nail gun and an RPG. In the weird categories, we've got an angle grinder, a sledgehammer, a flame katana, a broadsword, a bat with nails, a steamroller motorcycle and some sort of electro hammer.
A mortar strike is also at your disposal, using the obligatory next-gen companion app. But if you're smart, you probably won't set it off 10 feet in front of you. Vehicles will also factor into your killing spree, but as we saw in the E3 demo, you can't just indefinitely plow through the hordes. Those chunky bodies will slow down your car and affect your steering. Especially with all these new zombie types. There are even more zombies than before, with deeper personalities. Well, that's if you can call preferred flesh-eating tendencies a personality. In a break from traditional zombie lore, the undead in Dead Rising retain some of their memory from their not-undead life. So you'll have fireman zombies swinging axes and policeman zombies taking wild potshots with a handgun. And I can't think of anything more terrifying than a zombie that knows how to shoot a gun. Apart from maybe this American footballer zombie. Luckily Nick can distract them when he's surrounded, but it's a little more than just saying, hey, look over there!
Looking for a snack?
Well, it's a little more. In addition to shouting obnoxiously at the undead, Firing off flares, setting fire to things and making a big racket with a jukebox will attract the attention of their limited senses of sight and sound. Just don't go throwing a disco party and expect to be undisturbed. In addition, the human foes of the series, psychopaths driven insane by the hordes, will be making a return. But so far, nothing has been revealed. There's not too long to wait for the game as it's a launch title for the Xbox One, rumoured to launch around November. And until then, why not watch some of our videos? We hope you've enjoyed this one, give us a like if you did. If you want to see more, subscribe or just watch them, you know?